All right, let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be videotaped, so people can go back and look at the video. My name is Senator Ben Allen. I'm very proud to represent the 26th Senate District, covering the West Side, Hollywood, and South Bay communities of LA County. And we wanted to get this very successful webinar from a couple months, a reprise, because we got such good feedback from the last seminar, and there was a lot of people who wanted to have the opportunity to have their questions asked and get them answered. So the last couple of years have brought a lot of uncertainty into our lives, and while many of us were trying to navigate the new normal, we got a few calls from constituents regarding the many targeted scam calls that people have been receiving, asking our staff to verify whether they were legitimate or not. And we started to go down this rabbit hole relating to scams. Scams have been impacting people of all ages. It's so important to know what the common scams are in order to evade falling victim to them. In fact, for several years now, research conducted by the Better Business Bureau has shown that younger adults are falling victim to swindlers even more than older people, which is something that a lot of people weren't aware of. Information is key. I hope that today's webinar will give folks an opportunity to just learn a little bit more about how to keep you and your loved ones safe from scams. We've pulled together a panel of 3 experts who are going to discuss how you can identify and counter potential scams, as well as they're going to answer a few of the questions that have been already submitted. So with us today, we have Kevin Darawa of the Contractor State License Board. We've got Jackie Wiley of the Department of Financial Protection and Information, and also Zulemi Gonzalez of the Department of Insurance. If you've got additional questions during the webinar, as they come to your mind, just post them in the Q&A section of the Zoom. If time allows, then we're going to have our panelists answer them at the end of our program. And I'm going to ask our panelists to the extent that you can, and obviously focus on your presentations, but to the extent that you can, be checking the Q&A as well. And if you could proactively answer whatever questions that you think are in your bailiwick that you can answer, please feel free to do so. Anyhow, we're going to start the program with Kevin Darawa, who's with the Contractor State Licensing Board. And Kevin's a super sharp guy. Let's just start with you, Kevin. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Senator Allen, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, my name is Kevin Darawa from Contractor State License Board. I'm an Information Officer 1 with the board. Let me see if I can share my screen here. I am not sharing the right screen. Oh, I went too fast. So part of the reason that we're here today and we're conducting this consumer scam stopper is because, unfortunately, unlicensed individuals do like to target consumers, and that also involves unlicensed contractors. Like I said, I'm from Contractor State License Board. We are a state of California government agency that is a consumer protection agency, and we protect California consumers by licensing nearly 300,000 different contractors in 45 different classifications. When I say classification, that's in terms of construction, something like concrete or fencing or general B, they build homes. Unfortunately, unlicensed individuals, they do target older adults and other consumers. And they target older adults because older adults are trusting, which makes them a more vulnerable group, right? The unlicensed individuals will often try to manipulate consumers. They'll try to establish a connection with you and try to find a common ground with you. For instance, they might say, oh, your grandson goes to Laguna Creek High School. My neighbor down the street goes to Laguna Creek High School. They got a great baseball team this year. They'll try to form casual connections with you in order to take advantage of you down the line. And we should also note that scammers are attracted to older adults oftentimes because they're attracted to those life savings and pensions, which makes them a bigger target. Some of the biggest scams we see at Contractor State License Board, they involve unlicensed individuals asking for a very large down payment before they start their home improvement project. It's very important for you to note, under California law, the down payment must be no more than 10% or $1,000, whatever's less. Some other common scams we see at CSLB involve door-to-door sales, which often involve pressure or scare tactics. You might get a knock at your door from someone offering a free home inspection. It sounds like a great deal, right? Well, you let them inside and all of a sudden they start to find all these like little problems with your home. cracks in the wall, leaky faucets, etc. Then they're trying to get you on the hook to hire them to make the repairs. Well, the problem is you don't know if they're licensed, you don't know if they're qualified, and you don't know if they're going to do a good job, or just take your money and run off with it. So you want to avoid those kind of scams. Don't even open your door. Don't even let them inside. Just acknowledge them and close the door and say thank you. Other common scams we see involve verbal agreements. You'll hire a contractor and they'll promise you one thing and give you with a simple handshake. That's not good enough. We need everything written down in a contract. The prices of materials, they often change during the job, especially during these post-pandemic times. You need all those changes documented in a contract. Also, you should know that you never should pay in cash when you're dealing with a contractor. You always want to pay with a written check and make sure you have copies of that check that you can save as proof of payment. So what can you do if you've been scammed? Please call CSLB 1-800-321-CSLB or 2752. You can also go to our website, cslb.ca.gov, and click the File a Complaint button. Here's an example on our homepage. It's right there at the bottom. Just click there and get the complaint process started. You should know you have 4 years from the date of your construction project to file a complaint. So if you're unhappy with that work that was done last summer on your pool, you still have time to file a complaint with CSLB. You should also note for older adults, we're talking ages 65 and up, you have a 5-day right to cancel a contract. So that's added protection for seniors who may have fallen victim to those pressure tactics that we were talking about earlier. So why should you use a licensed contractor? Well, licensed contractors pass trade and law exams with CSLB and they undergo background checks. You're getting that guaranteed experience. They're also required to hold $15,000 bonds, which adds to your consumer protection. They're also required to carry workers' compensation insurance if they have employees. This is very important because it covers worker injuries. If you are hiring a contractor and they do not have workers' compensation insurance and they have employees, one of those workers gets hurt on the job, you may be held liable for that worker's injuries. So you get greater consumer protection when you hire a licensed contractor. You should also know that CSLB can step in and help you with negotiation, mediation, and arbitration when you're dealing with a contractor if you have problems with a contractor. We should also note that under California law, you're required to hire licensed contractors for any home improvement job that costs $500 or more. With the high prices of everything nowadays, that is almost every home improvement project you should be looking to hire a licensed contractor. So how do you find a contractor? Well, you can use your friends and family, okay? Get those recommendations from your neighbors down the street. But then I want you to take that extra step of going to cslb.ca.gov and checking the license, using this license check feature, okay? With this license check feature, all you need to do is put in the person's license number, business name, personnel name, or if they're a home improvement salesperson, their number or their name. And you can get a wealth of information right on our website. You can get their business information, which includes the date their license expires, their license status. You want to make sure their license is active. It also lists any disclosed complaints that it might be on the license from consumers who feel that this contractor didn't do them right. It also lists the classifications, what this contractor is licensed to do. You don't want to hire a landscaping contractor if they don't have a classification in concrete, if they're going to do a lot of concrete work for you. This webpage will also list the bonding information, so you can get in touch with the bonding company and whether or not they have that workers' compensation insurance policy, which I talked about is so important. So if you don't have good recommendations from friends or family or neighbor, or you check them and they're not licensed, you want to work with a licensed contractor, go to our website, cslb.ca.gov, and use the Find My Licensed Contractor tool. It's really easy. You click on this icon, and what you'll do is you'll get a window that lets you put in your city and or your zip code. And then you'll get a drop-down menu that lets you choose what type of contractor you're looking for. Again, whether it's fencing, concrete, roofing, pick that kind of contractor and you'll get a nice printable or downloadable list of licensed contractors in your area that you can start making your calls on. You always want to protect yourself and hire a licensed contractor. You also want to get 3 bids and get them in writing. This gives the consumer a great price range for your project. It makes you a more informed consumer, right? If I'm going to go buy back to school supplies, I'm not just going to go to Walmart. I'm also going to price check Amazon and Target. I want to get the best prices. You always want to ask for references and check the references of those contractors. Even better, if you can see some of their work in person, some of their past work in person, that's even better. And when you're meeting these contractors, ask to see their pocket license. It's going to be a laminated credit card size card, similar to this one, and it'll have their name and license number and their expiration date of their license. Compare to this pocket license to a picture ID, similar to a driver's license, so you can confirm their identity and confirm they are in fact licensed. We ask contractors to put their license number on vehicles and contracts and business cards. So unfortunately, we do have unlicensed actors who do steal other contractors' license numbers. So that's why we ask you to do this. So you're going to be getting your 3 bids. When you're getting those 3 bids, ask the contractor if they have employees. If they have employees, they need workers' compensation insurance. And don't ever feel pressure to sign estimates. You would like a written bid. You don't need to sign anything. The only thing you're going to be signing is a written contract. Speaking of the contract, who can negotiate the contract? Only the contractor who holds a license and a home improvement salesperson. They should be registered with CSLB as well. Be very careful with electronic contracts. They can be altered after you sign them. You always want to receive a written copy of the contract. It's required before the contractor starts any work for you. The contract should also include something called a progress payment schedule. Money is your leverage when you're dealing with a contractor. You never want to let the money get ahead of the work. You only want to give the contractor half of the money when half of the job has been completed. Money is your leverage. The contract should also include any subcontractors or material suppliers the contractor is working with, so you can make sure that they've been paid. That avoids a mechanics lien situation. The contract should also include a start and finish date of your project and those change orders in writing that both you and the contractor sign if there are changes to the cost of materials or anything else on the contract. I want to quickly talk to you about solar projects. There's been a rise in solar complaints across the state. CSLB does have a solar task force, and we do have a solar smart page on cslb.ca.gov that you should consult before considering any solar project. You should be asking yourself, is solar right for you? It really depends on how much time you're going to be spending in your home. You should probably be spending at least the next 5 years of your home before you even consider a solar project. You also want to consider what direction your roof points. Is your roof obscured by power lines or trees that could impact how much solar energy you'll be pulling in? You also want to do the math with solar. And when I say do the math with solar, consider your monthly utility statements. How much will those go down with these solar panels? And compare it to how much your solar system on your roof is going to cost. What is your break-even point? When are you going to actually start saving money on solar? Other reminders when considering solar, it is not free. If a salesperson is trying to convince you that it is free, they are misleading you. Solar is not free. It's expensive to put those panels on your roof. You also want to use extra caution when you're using any kind of financing programs, including PACE, HERO, CHIEF, or real loans. My colleague from DFPI coming up after me, Jackie Wiley, she's going to discuss some of these programs and why they can be dangerous for consumers. These loans can often carry high interest rates, which are often tied to your property taxes. So you won't be able to refinance or sell your home if you're tied into one of these financing programs. And your property tax bill could increase later down the line, which can also cause problems for homeowners. You want to protect yourself when you're working with a solar contractor or any contractor. You want to make sure you have control over your payments, get everything in writing in a contract. And when you're working with solar, you should be receiving a financing estimate or disclosure document. It's a one sheet at the top of all your paperwork that should clearly point out how much the solar system will cost you. Read that contract carefully, sit with friends and family, sit with it for 24 hours and look it over before signing it. Again, protect yourself, hire licensed contractors using the Find My License contractor tool on cslb.ca.gov. And also make sure you check the license with the instant license check on cslb.ca.gov. That's right here on our website. And you can always get this information by calling CSLB 1-800-321-CSLB or 2752. Please remember, if you're going to remember one slide from this presentation, the down payment must be no more than 10% or $1,000, whatever is less. And don't let payments get ahead of the work. Money is your leverage when you're working with a contractor. I'll be available to take your questions at the end. If you need to contact Contractor State License Board, call 1-800-321-CSLB or 2752. You can also email us social@cslb.ca.gov. I'd now like to pass it off to Jackie Wiley of Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. Jackie?
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you all for being on the line today. Let me try to share my screen really quickly. Just a quick note about can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can see
Yes.
it, but you should try to do a slideshow mode.
Okay, I'm trying. Hold on.
Just go up to the top there, slideshow.
I'm not my thing is so weird. Hold on. You share. No, that's not what I want. I'm sorry.
It's right up there. Boom.
Here. Did I do it?
I don't think so. It's okay. You can start going through it this way. It's okay.
Well, I don't want people to see my notes, but anyway, I'm with the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation and one of the targeted outreach specialists with the department.
Jackie, if you go to slideshow at the very top up here, and you can say start slideshow.
I'm seeing stop. I'm seeing new share.
I'll let you do it.
I'm still not seeing it. I don't know.
It's at the top. It's Jackie. It's at the top underneath the file name of the PowerPoint. So here it says DFPI PYFF final.
And
Right
that's
under
the
that,
thing.
right under that file name, there's a subheading on your window that says slideshow.
I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing any of that on my screen.
Are you using dual monitors?
Yeah, I always do.
Oh, so maybe your monitors are just swapped, I think. So you're seeing what we should be seeing. Does that make sense? Are you able to swap your monitor?
I am, but I don't see, I see new share. Here's my PowerPoint.
Now we're just seeing your desktop.
Right. I'm sorry. You want Zulemi to go so I'm not holding up the presentation? I don't know. I'm having a lot of computer problems right now.
All right, sure. Why don't we have Zulemi go and maybe someone can work with Jackie. Apologies, everybody.
Sorry.
But let's go to you, Zulemi.
All right, we're good. My end.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, everybody, I made a mistake. We don't have a Q&A section. It's just a chat. So if you do have questions, do put your questions into the chat. I noticed that some folks have already started to do that. So thank you, Maureen, and others. We'll take a look. Thanks so much, Zulemi, for joining us from the Department of Insurance.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'll start with a brief overview of the Department of Insurance, discuss some common insurance scams, and then close with some resources available to you from the department. We'll go on to the next slide. So the California Department of Insurance, it's also known as CDI, is a state agency, and we regulate the insurance marketplace. So we regulate all lines of insurance, including homeowners, auto, life, and health, to name a few. So we also regulate the insurance companies, agents, and brokers that sell insurance. All of CDI's functions, including overseeing insurer solvency, licensing agents, brokers, and conducting market conduct reviews and resolving consumer complaints. It's all to protect California consumers. So as a consumer, if you ever have problems with your insurance company, an agent or a broker, you can call us for help. Alrighty then. So first I'd like to just reflect on what our department has accomplished for California consumers over the last year. Our Community Relations and Outreach branch, which is where I work directly, hosted over 275 events and reached over more than 166,000 consumers. The regulations and legal branches helped return over $3 billion to consumers due to their reduced driving and business activity during the pandemic. And consumer services team helped more than 40,000 consumers and recovered over $134 million in insurance benefits since the start of the year. All right, so one of the most popular scams involving insurance is annuities. Why? Because Californians spend over an average of 20 billion on annuities. That's a lot of money to be made by a scam agent. An annuity is a contract between you and the insurance company. You buy it by making one or more premium payments, and they in return make income payments to you for a fixed period of time in the future. It's often used as an investment vehicle for retirement income, and it's sold by licensed insurance agents, usually with a financial background. Growth in annuities are also tax deferred, so it's good for some and lousy for others. Why? Usually because of the 7-year surrender charge. So there's a big penalty for you to take your money out if you need it, maybe in case of an emergency. But agents love to sell it because of the big upfront commission. So then what happens then? This is when the agent gets you into one annuity, then 12 months or 18 months later calls you and says he's found a better annuity for you and you need to switch out. What does that mean to you? You may be hit with a penalty for early withdrawal, but it's more upfront commission for the agent again, and you may even have tax implications on top of that. But if you have a financial advisor whom you've been working with for years, they know your financial goals, your financial picture, your risk tolerance, and suggest adding an annuity to your portfolio, and explains the type of annuity, the pros, the cons, and why it makes sense as part of diversifying your own portfolio, then annuity can be the right investment for you. Just do not make a decision to buy an annuity right away, sleep on it, and think it over with a family member or someone you trust. If the annuity is a good deal today, it will still be a good deal tomorrow. All right, so some other common insurance scams include premium theft and auto stage accidents. So premium theft occurs when you buy an insurance policy from an agent or broker and they never actually buy, place, or bind the policy with the insurance company. And you're now thinking to yourself, how can that happen? Do you have a receipt? Do you have a copy of the policy? Do you have a statement? Well, some scam agents will go to great lengths to steal from you and falsify that information. So let me share a latest arrest in
Hey, Zulemi, by the way, are you able to get closer to the microphone or something? We're getting some feedback from folks that they like you to speak up, or maybe there's some sound issues. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear? Is this better? I kept switching between them, so I hope this is better. I'll also speak louder.
Yeah, that's a little better.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me know. So as I mentioned, I was going to go over a latest arrest of an agent from San Clemente. His name is Robert Stoddard, and he was arrested after an investigation found he allegedly stole over $1.2 million from more than 20 victims. He is being charged with 51 felony counts of grand theft, elder abuse, money laundering, securities violations, and aggravated white-collar crime enhancement. This insurance agent allegedly violated his victims' trust and placed them in financial risk for his own gain. For 6 years, Robert conducted investment and retirement-related seminars that targeted senior citizens and used various schemes to fraudulently gain victims' trust and cultivate friendships in order to steal money from them. Robert let victims believe he obtained bonuses from insurance companies that he could apply to their existing life policies and or annuity contracts if they paid their premiums directly to him, rather than the insurance company. So then he then failed to place the annuity and life insurance policies, and also induced the victims into a fraudulent real estate scheme. And so Robert forged insurance statements, emails, letters, which led victims to believe the information he relayed to them was true. He would even occasionally pay a few investment returns to the victims, but those were later halted. But thank goodness that he was taken into custody, and we hope some of the victims get their money back soon. Now, staged auto accident fraud. Believe it or not, it still occurs if you get into an accident and something just doesn't feel right. Please call the police and report it to your insurance company. I'm talking about that gut feeling you get when you all of a sudden there's the car in front of you stops short, and there's a car next to you, so you can't move, and you're rear-ended. The car in front of you, you rear-end the car in front of you, you pull over, the car that was next to you is gone, but the car you're rear-ended pulls over, and the driver gets out, holding his neck, then the front passengers holding his lower back, then 2 or 3, 4 more passengers all exit the sedan. Something doesn't feel right. So 2 potential fraud could occur here. And then the driver says he's going to do you a favor by not reporting this to your insurance company, and now how he can settle this, and he'll even follow you to the bank to get the cash. That's a big red flag. Or the passengers all claim bodily injury for a minor fender bender and file claims against your insurance company. Now, you might be thinking that, well, that doesn't really hurt me. The insurance company is paying, but your insurance rates will go up because of the bodily injury claim. So this is just one example of a staged auto accident. There's several versions of this. Again, if your gut tells you something isn't right, take a deep breath. Don't feel rushed. Don't make decisions at the accident site, and do not admit fault. Do not tell anyone about your insurance policy or the coverage limits. You do have to exchange your insurance carrier information, but nothing more. Call the police and call your insurance company. So what are some insurance scam warning signs? So we all know if it's too good to be true, it probably is. The agent probably is going to offer free seminars in sites like assisted living home centers, retirement communities, or places of worship for a free meal. The agent offers to create or update a living trust in order to see your financial information. They're trying to find new clients that could potentially be worth a lot more money to them than the free living trust. They are offering to the free living trust they're offering. They want your financial information, and it is up to you to guard it. So this is exactly what happened with Robert Stoddard in San Clemente. So just be aware, and like I mentioned, guard your information. So what can you do to avoid becoming a victim of insurance fraud? Step 1 is please check the status of the insurance company and agent on our website and make sure they're in good standing. Do not leave any blank spaces on an application. Dishonest agents will fill these blank spaces without your approval, of course, and get everything in writing and compare policies. Don't pay with cash, and make your checks payable to the insurance company or agency business name and not in the agent's name. Most importantly, ask questions. What does the policy cover? What is not covered? What's excluded? What is the cost and how often? If I can cancel, are there any surrender charges? Is it suitable for you and your situation? Never feel pressured or intimidated, and never sign anything you don't understand. So what can you do to protect yourself? Just don't engage, don't be polite. Be stingy with your own personal information and change your passwords often. Hang up the phone and just stop being so nice. You can also, very importantly, please report fraud. So on this slide, if you suspect fraud, please call someone, report it. There are 3 organizations to call here on the screen, and the last is a website that you can learn more about your current insurance scams. And I will go ahead and follow up with these information on the chat. But also, if you have questions about your current insurance policy, a new policy, or you've been denied coverage, claim or canceled even, you want to report fraud, please call our consumer hotline, which is 800-927-4357, or you can visit our website at www.insurance.ca.gov. And thank you so much for your time. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Jackie.
So let me just real quick, I want to just one quick question from Elizabeth that I thought maybe you could answer quickly. Is there any legit earthquake insurance for renters, or is that largely a scam? Is that something that would typically be something that you know, only the landlord would be able to access?
I would say only the landlord would be able to access that, of course.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I will go ahead and answer that question with some links in our website.
Great.
That
Okay.
help that.
Thank you so much, Shalemi. Really appreciate it. And I can see that Jackie's got the PowerPoint up and running. So let's go on to you, Jackie.
Okay, again, I super apologize.
It's all good.
I'm one of the targeted outreach specialists with the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation located in Los Angeles office. So who are we and what is our role? Most of people never even heard of us. Are we a new agency? No, we are not. We are formally the Department of Business Oversight. Our mission is the same, just a new name. And our mission is to help protect Californians when doing business. So we license and regulate state financial institution, products, and professionals. And what are those? So we oversee state chartered banks and credit unions, financial lenders, residential mortgages, lenders and servicers, student loan services, payday lenders, escrow agents, and the PACE administrators, and a whole lot more. And that's our website there to get a complete list of the industries that we license and regulate. We conduct audits and pursue legal actions against those operating illegally. We know that there are a lot of people out here doing unlawful, deceptive, and abusive practices to everyone. So the mission here is to help Californians protect themselves from them. And my job is to provide fraud and scam awareness presentations such as this one today. As we know, millions are falling prey to frauds and scams, and that is why it is more important than ever to learn how to safeguard your personal information and your financial information as well. So let's get right into it. So this is like a new name that people are using now: vishing, phishing, and smishing. And these are all methods that differ in how scammers contact you. So it's by mail, text message, or phone, and the same goal: to steal personal information and your financial account information. So vishing with the V is through phone, robocalls, or voicemail. Phishing is contacting you via email. Smishing is contacting you via text message or an SMS, which stands for short message service, through your text messaging service. All of these methods have one thing in common: they create a sense of urgency and try to get you to act or take action with a single goal in mind. Again, stealing your money. So let's look at who's calling. So let's talk about some of the common scams. You've heard that name, and it became a little more sophisticated. The pandemic inspired scams once the pandemic hit, because why? They're more frequent, and of course they've gotten more sophisticated. Again, the goal to access personal and financial information. Okay, so some of the scams that we hear that are trending, and it's always that grandparent relative scam that is really increasing. And it's you receive a phone call: "Grandma, it's me," and someone's calling in a panic voice, and they're hurt, or they're getting arrested, etc. But they need money right away, and they go so far as to put an arresting officer or a lawyer on the line to make it sound more convincing, who is going to provide instructions on how to send the money to get your loved one out of this mess that they're supposedly in. But what I want to say to you is if you ever do receive that phone call, don't say, Jackie, is that you? Don't give out the name. That is their cue to continue on with the scam. They don't know anything about you or any of your relatives. So if you're giving information and you're providing information, they're going to proceed with the scam. Credit card scams. Well, one of the things is that we're hearing about is the fact that there are large purchases may have been made on your credit card. You may get a phone call and they'll ask you that question and they need to verify that you have made the purchase. Well, if you know that you did not make a large purchase, you don't need to provide them any information. Hang up the phone and always go to the source. Call your credit card company yourself to verify whether there has been a large purchase or a purchase at any time that you didn't make. Don't call the number. If it was a voice message left on your machine, call to the source yourself. Get your credit card out, flip it over and call that number. We hear a lot about the financial relief phone calls, whether it's an investment opportunity, consolidation, modification, buy now, pay later, lowering your APR. These all sound good, but don't let a financial relief opportunity coax you into making a quick decision. Do your homework. Find out whether the solicitation is legal. Find out whether the person or the opportunity is licensed to do business within the state of California. And we know that the pandemic has a lot of people financial struggling. So an opportunity comes along to lower anything or consolidate or can help you, quote unquote. Do your homework before you engage in business. We are hearing a lot about this IT help. So, you know, you might be on your computer and you start getting all these different pop-ups. What should you do? You should disconnect from the internet and shut down your device immediately. Pop-ups are often used by criminals to spread malicious software. So if you start seeing something going wonky with your computer, shut it down immediately. And you may receive a phone call with someone offering to help you or telling you that your computer has just been hacked or they can help you fix the errors or the pop-ups that's going on. Remember, people, you did not make the phone call. These are incoming calls to you. And this is why you should always be proceed with caution, hang up and don't provide any information. Affinity fraud is something that we're hearing about, and affinity fraud happens when there's an association, an affiliation. Maybe we're all of the same religion, we go to the same church, we go to the same association, and we all know each other. So if we are affiliated with one another, I know that you are not trying to defraud me, but you have an opportunity that was posed to you. So you bring it to the association or to your neighborhood watch people or to your family, friends, and neighbors. And that is what the scammer wants you to do, to bring in other people to this bogus investment opportunity. But you, as the person carrying the bone, so to speak, we're going to believe you. So again, even though we may be affiliated, I've known you for 25, 30 years, please still do your homework. It's not your intention to defraud me, but it was the intention of the fraudster for you to carry the imposter, the scamming opportunity. Government imposters. Let's start with you get a phone call saying that your social security number is frozen. Okay, so what am I going to do? I know you're going to freak out, but let's just start here. That's a government agency. No one is going to call you to tell you that. No government agency calls you to tell you anything about your social security, about IRS. You know, they're not going to call you. IRS doesn't have time to call people to tell them about their taxes or this is due and this is late. This is a government agency. Even if you see it on your phone viewer that it's the Internal Revenue Service, don't believe it. Jackie told you today, government agencies do not call you to remind you about anything. You're going to get it in the mail, get something in the mail. Utility company, hi, I'm calling from DWP or ABC company, and it's showing that your bill is delinquent. Well, I'm giving you a courtesy call today, ma'am, so that you'll have the opportunity to pay this delinquent bill. We'll take check by phone, credit card. All you have to do is provide me that information so that your services won't be shut off by 5 o'clock today. Again, if anything is delinquent, your DWP, Southern Edison, any utility bill is late, you're going to get that in the mail, and it's going to tell you past due, please pay immediately. So please don't allow government imposters move you to spend your money or believe that that is who they really are. Financial institutions also, this is really rampant. I'm calling from ABC Bank, and thank you for being a customer for many years. We're updating our records, and we need to just verify some information from you, and they'll start asking you for your social security number, maybe your account number, to verify that this is whom they are talking to. But again, remember, if you've been a customer for many, many years and you're not expecting a phone call from your financial institution, you should never provide that personal information. So those are some of the trends of phone calls, the vishing, which is voice phishing, that we're hearing about. So let's look at some of the examples of smishing and phishing. So phishing with an PH through an email. We all know that the internet is harmful and it's helpful, but if you get an email like this, it looks very official. Bank of America logo looks wonderful, but what you should be looking at is errors. If you look at the top, bank, it's from Bank of America, but then it has a Comcast.net website, so address, so you know that that is not for real. And I also wanted to point out in this blue here where it says bankofamerica.com, if you hover, it's showing you that that is an incorrect address as well. So just because you see something that looks official, please go to the source and not believe this, but go to the source by calling them directly. Here's another example of what we're hearing so much about. On the right-hand side, this is what we call an SMS, a short message service. It has the phone number, but it's of urgent. Your card is temporarily locked. This is from Chase Bank. Please call us now at this number to unlock. Again, you don't know where this came from. Go to the source yourself, call Chase yourself, delete this message. And let's talk about this Zelle attempt. Did you make an attempt to make a payment to somebody on Zelle? Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, we license those money transfer methods, but you have to do the transaction yourself to send the money. So if you know that you didn't send the money, don't even reply yes or no, because what happens, it's bogus. And once you press a reply, whether it's yes or no, you're probably going to get a phone call immediately to quote unquote verify some banking information. Remember, if you didn't do the action, you didn't send it, you got this out of the clear blue, delete it. Same thing here, identifying unusual activity on your online banking. Please log into this website here, this site, to secure your account. It doesn't look secure. It has nothing to do with the name of the bank that I bank with. Another delete. Again, if you did not initiate, please remember that these are imposter messages. So let's talk really quick about some cyber safety tips. Beware of copycat sites like I had just talked about. When you're online banking, remember to log out of your account, sign off, log off, don't just close it. And if you are on the internet, if you're on the website, how do you know that it is secure? You should be seeing that S after HTTP. You should be looking for that closed lock either at the top or at the bottom. And please hover over the sites if you clicked on something of interest. Maybe it's Macy's, maybe it's Amazon, maybe someone's offering you a sale, but remember to hover over the link to make sure that's who it is. But better yet, type it in yourself. This way you know that it's a legitimate link. Hovering means to verify that it's the correct site. And please pay attention to the extensions. If it's Amazon.com, know that, because we have instances where people have gotten responses after shopping on Amazon, and they responded to a site that was Amazon.com. Okay, so please, please, please watch your extensions. Also think about putting a two-step verification, a multi authentication factor on your cell phones, on your banking information, on your home computers, which will send a code to verify that is you logging in. It provides an extra layer of protection. So please think about doing that to protect yourself more. Change your passwords a little bit more often, and stop using the passwords of the normal, my kid's birthday, my anniversary, things like that. Make it a passphrase, add some explanations and some numbers to it to try to give the hackers a run for their money. And please, ladies and gentlemen, limit your personal information on your Facebook posts. Limit the amount of personal information you post and only add people that you know. If you use social media, be mindful of folks stalking your page and gathering information about you. Okay, so those are just some quick cyber safety tips. And I also always want to share that it is really, really, really rampant now with the online dating apps and the romance scandals that we're hearing, and it's pertaining to older adults. And, you know, some young adults are getting on dating sites as well. But, you know, you have to know that these involve scammers forming fake romantic relationships with victims in order to manipulate them and take their money. So if you're online dating, if you're on a dating app, you know, and they tell you to come off the site, that's a red flag sign. If they can't never come and see you or meet up with you, that's a red flag sign. If they you know, if they're professing their love, but then things start happening where you can't meet, they don't have, and you start sending money, that's a big red flag sign. It is so unfortunate that we have a lot of individuals, older adults and just consumers in general, who are fallen or have fallen victim to dating, online dating scams, whether they have been coaxed into signing up for cryptocurrency and you don't know anything about it. But the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center reports more than 3,000 Californians fell victim to online romance scams just last year, losing a total of nearly $184 million, and it continues to climb. So what can you do to protect yourself out of all the things that I've said today? Don't answer the phone, just hang up. If it's somebody that needs to get in contact with you, they will leave you a message. Verify that there is an issue. And verification means going to the source, not the number that's left on your answering machine, not the number that's in the viewer or the text message that you receive. Never give personal information to incoming phone calls unless you are expecting a message from your doctor or you're expecting a call back from your financial institution. You didn't make the call, they called you. Be cautious of links sent via text, okay? I spoke about that. Just delete them, delete them, delete them. And for those who are still writing checks or who continue to write checks for bill payments, we still have people who steal mail. I'm gonna suggest that you get an anti-fraud pin. When you write your checks, to use that. You can purchase it at Office Depot or Staples. It prevents check washing from the checks should your checks have been stolen. And monitoring freezing your credit is a wonderful idea. If you know that you are not going to open up any new credit anytime soon, put a freeze on your credit. God forbid something is stolen and they want to become you. You threw out an application, somebody trying to apply for new credit. Putting a freeze on it will protect you from anyone trying to open up new credit. But what it doesn't do is protect your current credit. That's why we say it's a good thing for you to get an annual credit report from the 3 credit bureaus so that you can see what is actually on your credit report. You probably haven't done it in a long time, but if you are a victim of identity theft, the Federal Trade Commission reportfraud.ftc.gov is a wonderful source to file a complaint as well. And now, how can the DFPI help you? Well, learn more about us. We have a host of information on our website, a lot of resources. And that's another thing. There's so many resources out here that's available. You shouldn't have to pay for help, okay? Contact the DFPI through our toll-free number that's listed here on the screen. We have live in-person representatives. They can help you file a complaint should you have become a victim of financial or any other kind of fraud. We can verify whether the individual, the financial institution, or professional that you're thinking about doing business with is properly licensed. But we want you to call us before you start your process, before you engage in business. If you have a simple question, you can email us at AskTheFPI. And this booklet here, Protect Yourself from Fraud, right now we have it in English and in Spanish. It's a wonderful booklet. It talks about some of the scams that I talked about today and more. It also has a resource guide, because sometimes we don't always know where to, what agency to contact. But make it simple on yourself. File with the DFPI. If it's not within our jurisdiction, we will get it to the appropriate regulatory agency that can help you. And if you're interested in a presentation, email us at outreach@DFPI. Stay in contact with us. We have a monthly newsletter that has scams. It talks about the different laws and what the DFPI is doing to help consumers. And of course, we're always on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And so out of everything that I have said today, the bottom line is this: trust your instincts. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And most importantly, never give out personal information unless you initiated the contact, and always go to the source yourself. Don't rely on the message or the messenger. You take the initiative and do it yourself. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Jackie. Thank the three of you for all that great information. I'm so glad you got your PowerPoint up and running, because there was a lot of really good stuff there. Well, let me first thank the panelists for proactively answering the questions that have been popping up on the chat. We had a couple of pre-submitted questions that I think I want to fire off at you guys to start with. And maybe you can be looking at the chat, but it looks like the first few ones are really directed your way, Jackie. So here's an interesting case. I know someone who was scammed out of $750,000. It has been reported to the police and the FBI. Now they are on the hook for a tax bill from the IRS for another few $100,000 because the money came out of stocks. I guess they showed a profit from that. They've struggled to find any lawyer or CPA to take on their case. Is there any help? Are people really on the hook for the tax bill after being victimized, or can that be forgiven somehow? Wow. What can you tell us, Jackie? You're on mute. You're on mute.
So I did some research when I saw that question. And one of the things that I wanted to point out is that the person should contact their local legal services for seniors, and they provide pro bono work. That's number one. Number two, Betzedek Legal Services, and that's BETTZEDEK Legal Services. Again, another wonderful source, and I'll put that information in the chat. They provide free legal services for seniors as well. You can always contact the DFPI. FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, is another great source, and that's on the federal level to file a complaint and to talk to somebody about. Now, as far as the person being on the hook for the tax bill after being victimized, I really don't know how to answer that. I would think that talking to the attorney or someone from these legal services may would have a better answer, as well as maybe the IRS. So
yeah, I would think they should talk. They should probably call the IRS directly. I'm sure
absolutely.
They're not easy to get through to, but I know that they do. You know, it would be important, I think, to talk directly to them about this.
Absolutely, and letting them know the situation, and then because they've already stated that they have the police report and that they filed with the FBI, this is proof that it actually you know, that the person didn't just give away 750,000, you know, so
Right.
yeah, I would definitely talk directly to the IRS about that.
Okay. And I would also just say, we happen to be having a webinar tomorrow focused on small businesses, but Bates Etic is going to be there. Maybe we could, whoever asked this question, maybe we can, if you want to join us tomorrow on the webinar, we can ask that question of them. Maybe they'll be able to have someone who can answer that directly, because Bates Etic is a fantastic legal
Fantastic.
services resource. Yeah. All right. A couple people I noticed. So let's talk about some phones. I noticed someone in the chat, Phyllis, was asking about the National Do Not Call list. How does it work? What do they do if you report a phone number to them? Block it, contact them. Easy to block yourself, but what else? So but kind of related to that, there was a question that was pre-submitted, Jackie, that said, how can we stop scam calls on our iPhones? I believe we signed up for no scam calls, but we have been getting so many of them. I mean, certainly I'm in that case too. Thank God, you know, the iPhone kind of alerts you when they think that there's a scam, but even then some seem to be getting through, and on people's home phones, maybe they don't. Blocking the caller doesn't seem to be doing anything. So can you help us through those two issues?
I'm in that same boat too. I think everybody on the line today gets calls, and we're always going to continue to get solicitation calls because information is sold all the time. So if you signed up with the Do Not Call registry, that of course would be one thing that I would suggest. The other thing is that you can do NOMO, NOMO Robo. Okay, so that's, bless you, NOMO Robo, and it's .com. And it's free for landline. So it's another mechanism of blocking robocalls.
Give us that number again.
It's not a number. It's www.nomorobo.com. So it's No-Mo Robo, all one word.
No Mo Robo. Okay, I love it.
No Robo.
Who thought that up?
I don't know.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that. How frustrating. I mean, I wonder, just from this is maybe more a question from me, but what do you think the government could do to tighten up any more than we've already done on this issue? I mean, or is it just impossible to police all this? I mean, is there more we can be doing on the government side, or is this more of an FCC issue, or what?
I don't know if anything could be done. I mean, let's just say you put one fire out and another one starts here, 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 and here. So even though, just like the person said, we're blocking calls, we have the scam likely thing that pops up, and they just get around it. I don't know what government could possibly do to stop solicitations. I really don't.
All right, well, we'll have to spend some time looking into this. Okay, do we have any sense of this is another question that was submitted to us, of just the size of this problem? How many people are getting scammed? I mean, in each of your, let's go to the three of you. Can you give us just a sense of the scale of the problem from your three areas of jurisdiction? Maybe we start with you, Kevin.
Oh, I would say there's definitely thousands.
Yeah.
Of complaints. They come in as complaints and they're investigated, and they have to go through a lot of investigative work before they can determine what's a scam, what's not. But yeah, I would say thousands.
Okay, how about you, Zulemi? Insurance fraud.
Yeah, so we do have a huge fraud division, and I ran some of the report from last year. They received 23,846 suspected fraud claims.
God.
And they made 610 arrests, and obtained 386 convictions, and referred another of those 803 cases for criminal filing. So a big number, and the potential loss amounting is huge.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. All right. How about you, Jackie? What's your sense?
Our call center, we get a lot of calls that come in on And then a lot of complaints for financial fraud, mortgage fraud. But I did some homework, Senator. I looked up the Federal Trade Commission, and according to the Federal Trade Commission, consumers lost $5.8 billion to fraud last year. And it's up 70% over 2020, lost excess of the 5.8 billion in 2021. Okay, so from that, it says 5.7 million reports, in addition to identity theft reports and complaints about businesses, 2.8 million were about fraud. So it's staggering, and it continues to climb, unfortunately. And this is what we do to try to bring awareness so that we can bring some tools and warning signs so that the consumers can become empowered and take action in trying to not fall victim.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I just saw this note from Sunny popping up about how just the number of these robocalls coming in. It was quite frankly, folks, this is part of why we wanted to do this, just so at the very least, as we try to get a handle, which, as Jackie seems to suggest, well, maybe very challenging. At the very least, it seems that the best thing we can do is just make sure that folks are just aware, so they're able to be a little bit better prepared to protect themselves. Man, okay. Well, then let me actually, Jackie, there was an interesting question that popped up on the chat relating to our earlier conversation about theft. What about getting money back from banks, particularly a foreign bank? This was something that said a scammer wired $49,000 from the victim's account to a bank in Cambodia, and Chase Bank was not very helpful. But interesting, Debbie, to find out was their account hacked, or was this something that the victim did themselves? Maybe they were convinced to do it fraudulently, but I would love to get more information. But have you seen situations of scammer connected to her computer and did it? Oh my God. Okay, so here's someone who actually hacked an account, sent off 50 grand off to a foreign bank in Cambodia, and now the bank, her home bank, is not being helpful. Have you, what can we do in a situation like this, Jackie?
It's unfortunate because the person, did you say that the person, it was hacked into their account?
It certainly suggests, I mean, at least from what I'm seeing on this, this is what Debbie Dubb, one of our participants, is one of our attendees, is suggesting that the scammer was able to black out the screen and then able to connect to her computer and do it. I mean, that seems pretty extraordinary that Chase wouldn't be helpful in a case like that.
Right. So I would definitely contact our department because it's involving a financial institution. And if we don't have jurisdiction over Chase, then it would be the Office of Controllers. But at the same time, it's foreign country. So there are FAST teams, which are financial abuse specialist teams that can probably address that. And I would do FBI internet crime because it was over the internet and it's a cyber thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks like, so she made a report to the FBI. She let the scammer on. My gosh. I mean, this is the important, I mean, this is why we need to let everyone know about all the stuff that's out there right now. I mean, because people are letting Amazon, they think that Amazon they're letting them into their bank account, which no one should ever do.
And on top of that, if you didn't make a purchase from Amazon, that's first and foremost. If you did not order anything from Amazon, why are we letting them have access to our information?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me ask a question. Gosh, okay. So many tough questions. Kevin, there's a question for you that was submitted. How do utility companies typically alert you that they're coming to your home? I'm not sure if they send you an alert via email, paper mail, or phone, or if people just show up, but I'm more suspicious of people just showing up unannounced. Are you the right person to answer this question?
Yeah, I mean, that falls out of the CSLB's jurisdiction, but I still could do my best to answer the question. If a utility worker shows up at your door, you should ask to see proper identification. And then I would also encourage the consumer to call the utility company, use the phone number on the back of your utility bill and call the company directly. Don't call any number that whoever shows up at your door gives you. Use your bill and call the utility directly to confirm that there's going to be service done in your area. I also would not let any stranger into your home until you've confirmed this. That would be
Yeah.
my advice for this question asker.
Gotcha. Let me ask you another question, Kevin. I've heard some constituents report of people going door to door, saying that they're for solar installation. And then they start asking a lot of personal questions, what's your schedule, da, da, da. And then they start getting suspicious and cut off the conversation. But it's a really, have you been hearing cases like that around the state?
Door-to-door sales tactics are nothing new, unfortunately. It's just a new game. Solar is just the newest game in town. So you're more likely to see that. I've even had them in my neighborhood. And unfortunately, what you have to do is politely decline when they knock on your door. Don't give them any information. Don't give them your phone number, what time you'll be home, anything. Just politely decline and close the door. Don't wait at the door. If you wait at the door for them to leave, they'll still be there and start peppering you with more questions, try to get more information. They can be very friendly and influential.
Right.
I know it's in your gut to be a polite person and talk to
I
these
know.
people that are at your door. You want to be polite. You're a kind person. We all get it. But you have to slam the door on these people you don't know now to get them to leave your property, unfortunately.
Well, this is what's tough because they're playing on people's kind of human instincts, which is to be
Exactly.
responsive and polite. My man. Okay, well, we need to wind down. Let me just ask, a number of you have seen some of the panelists. If there's anything you'd like to add, maybe a question that you haven't had a chance to answer yet in the chat, or one of the pre-submitted questions that you had a chance to see, and any of you want to anything kind of outstanding that you want to make sure to answer? Let's start with you, Kevin.
There was one very complicated question in the chat, and I asked the individual to email us social@cslb.ca.gov because it looks like it involved an owner-builder situation, and there was a new purchaser of the home and the owner-builder may have used an unlicensed contractor. That kind of complicated matter, we're going to have to turn to our experts over here to figure out what can be done as far as filing a complaint. But again, contact CSLB, use the email address social@cslb.ca.gov. Do your homework when you're hiring a licensed contractor. Always hire a licensed contractor. Use the resources available at cslb.ca.gov. I tell consumers all the time that instant license check, it takes a matter of seconds and it could save you months or years of headaches, okay? Not to mention tens of thousands of dollars. You want to start off on the right foot and hire a licensed contractor before you begin any complicated home improvement project. Anything over $500.
Yeah, okay. All right, that's very helpful, Kevin. I mean, a couple people have brought up, door to door, ask them to leave information on the door. What if, okay. All right, how about you, Salemi? Anything else you want to make sure to answer?
I just want to leave some contact information. If you have questions about your current insurance policy or you want to report fraud, please call our consumer hotline. I mentioned it in the chat. I will mention it again. It's 800-927-4357. And we have experts, insurance experts that can assist you in different languages. So that's very important. And you can also visit our website at www.insurance.ca.gov.
Okay, how about you, Jackie? Thank you, Salemi. How about you, Jackie?
I'm just going to keep mine very simple. Don't always believe the message or the messenger. Remember, if you did not initiate the phone call, do not give out your personal information when you receive one. That's first and foremost. And don't allow, because it's a known organization or a bank or financial institution that you are familiar with, to fool you into thinking that that's who it is. These are all imposters because they are calling you. If you didn't initiate it, you should be skeptical and stop giving out personal information. That's first and foremost for me.
And Jackie, Debbie makes the point, of course, this has been we've been talking about this a number of times, just the importance of not letting people that you don't know onto your computer, whether it be, and that doesn't just mean physically sitting at your keyboard. Much more likely the problem is going to be someone who you may allow in to your computer remotely, and then they can or on your smartphone, as Debbie's mentioning. If you could shed a little bit more light on that.
I totally agree, Debbie, and thank you for bringing that up. I usually tell my audience members, if you have a computer problem, like I said, with the pop-ups or the freezing or anything, immediately shut it down, come off of it. We have children, we have grandchildren. There's Best Buy Geek SWAT who can help you with your computer problems. Don't allow a stranger access to any of your computer devices or your phone. So go to a family member, go to a friend, go to your neighbor whom you trust versus an individual who calls you out of the clear blue and says that they can do it. Okay, so good point, Debbie.
Yeah, no, thank you. Well, really appreciate it, everybody. And yeah, a special thanks to Debbie for your help. I know you're in IT. I think you're a constituent of mine who works in IT, and I just appreciate all your helpful additions. So we are going to post. So Sebag, my old friend from high school, I see is on the chat as well. Nice to see you, man. We are going to post this recording on our website. We will have future webinars that we'll be posting as well. If there's any particular information you want from the chat, you can message us directly, or you can if there's particular, we'll put up some resources that have been mentioned in the chat, so that that you can access that directly from our website. So that I think basically everything that we've been posting in the chat will be on that resources page, so you can go back and access. We may do another one of these Scam Stoppers or webinars again next month. Just because everyone likes this so much and they're able to ask a lot of follow-up questions, and our panelists are so fantastic and responsive. The other thing I should mention is that tomorrow we're doing a webinar on small business issues, and we're actually going to be hearing from folks from the LA Regional Small Business Development Center and also from BEDSEDEC. And then we're also going to be doing future webinars on issues that for landlords, and as they're trying to access grants and loans and some assistance relating to pandemic and post-pandemic relief, and also for renters. So there's going to be a number of these webinars coming up. So if this is helpful, and there's some of these other subjects that might be helpful to you if you work in small business world and want to have some more information on how to access some of the resources that are available both in the nonprofit sector and also from government to assist small businesses that are trying to emerge from the economic, from the downturn and from the pandemic on this bumpy road toward economic recovery, please do check out our webinar tomorrow at 4 p.m. We will be posting all of these resources that have been mentioned in the chat onto our website, which is senate.ca.gov/Allen. So please check those out. And as always, please don't hesitate to reach out to my office if you have challenges or concerns. Our phone number is 310-318-6994. That's 310-318-6994. Email address is senator.allen@senate.ca.gov, senator.allen@senate.ca.gov. And we've got a great staff of folks here in LA that answer people's questions all the time, trying to help them. So if there's a question or issue that's come up in the wake of this seminar, we would love to help try to get you some assistance. So thank you so much to Jackie. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Zulemi. Thank you to my staff as well, Davis and Alina especially. Alina's about to have a baby. We're so happy for you, Alina. So you're going to be on leave for a little while, but we're going to miss you and know you're going to be back assisting constituents really soon. We've got some other great staff that are coming on board to fill in your absence. But thank you to my hardworking staff and to all the really great assistance from Jackie and Kevin and Zulemi's offices. You're just providing really important assistance for people who've been so tragically victimized. And my only message is to everybody: inform yourselves, and please also think about the most vulnerable people you know in your lives. Maybe it's your grandma, maybe it's your neighbor, maybe it's a friend. But there are, we all know people who are good-hearted, credulous people who are vulnerable to being taken advantage of by scam artists, who are much more likely to click on that email, or much more likely to answer that call or answer that doorbell in a way that might harm them ultimately. And I just ask you, please make sure they're aware of these resources, make sure they're aware of these dangers. And if you have any questions or ways that any of us can help, please be please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we are here to help them. There's only so much we can do to stop these scam artists, as Jackie has unfortunately informed us. And so the most we can do, the best we can do right now, is to inform ourselves and be aware of all these resources that are available. Thank you, everybody. Have a very good evening.
Thank you.